Once, it was called smut. The rules were clear. If it went too far, it was obscene. It offended the community standard of decency. The digital age and a political moment changed all of that. Now, pornography is a multi-billion-dollar business that has doubled in size in the last 5 years. As technology swept pornography into our living rooms, questions began to be raised about the old rules. In a wired world, who can say what offends the community standard of decency? Who can even define a community? Now, a new political moment, and those questions are being raised. On the answers, delivered by juries over the next few years, ride billions of dollars and the fate of American porn.
This is how it starts. Okay, I'm just going to do a test on the 2 girls that Roy bought. It should be 5 minutes. I don't know what this guy does. He does nothing. He's always there. I can't get a f***ing coffee when I want one.
Clive McLean's at the top of his game.
Everybody else seems to have coffees in their hand.
His game is pornography.
So this is a couple of new ladies who've never been shot before. They're here for the first time. I'm going to do a half a roll of film on these kids here.
They're in their late teens, brought to Los Angeles, discovered by one of Clive's talent scouts.
He's a talent scout, exactly. I never thought of you as a talent scout, Roy. You don't mind the cameras?
Sweet trick.
Are you nervous?
Who can make
I am.
Clive says there's no shortage of fresh young talent eager to break into this business.
Now's as good a time as any. Whoops! Now's as good a time as any. If you put yourself in their position, I mean, I'd be pretty nervous, wouldn't you? Would you take off your clothes, sir, right away? Well, However, she doesn't look too nervous. So based on that, okay, look at me, Marianne. You know why we do that? That's great. Swing your all the way out toward me, all the way out.
18-year-old Marianne dreams of
Okay,
stardom
like that. Up.
in Clive's signature video series, Barely Legal.
Here's the Barely Legal series. Okay, this is the one I direct. It's the biggest selling series in America. It's 5 separate stories within the 2-hour video. And each of the stories is obviously a girl. It's about a girl's usually first experience.
Dear Barely Legal, I was a naughty 18-year-old, and I knew that well. I went to see an artist who wanted nude models for his paintings.
The arithmetic of American porn is staggering. It costs $55,000 to make Barely Legal.
Unbelievable numbers. You know, like 35, 40,000 videos is a top seller because about 50% go to rent.
They sell for $39.95 a copy.
Now we're on Barely Legal 15.
So far, Barely Legal has turned a profit of close to $10 million.
Woman, she's a girl.
The most beautiful
Great.
star.
So I can get a
Autumn,
little
the
smile.
other newcomer, might be right for a role in Barely Legal number 16.
Okay, now stick your bottom out toward me.
Make me
Got it.
believe it's a
Perfecto.
beautiful world.
He ought to do a Barely Legal video, you know, I mean, together.
Is that how it works?
They're thinking about it.
Autumn came to L.A. with her husband, Randy. They seem ready, able, and more or less willing.
I'm not real comfortable with girl-boy, but I'll do girl-girl, I'll do single girl. It's just, I don't know what I'm comfortable with. It's all new to me. I gotta see as I go along.
Feels good, you know, I like watching it, like seeing her naked, you know, so.
One with the more shapely hips, the second one, I think is absolutely a yes. She's not really sure about video yet, but she's great for the magazine, I can see that.
In the end, Autumn agreed to make a video. A month later, she and Randy returned to L.A. Clive rented this house to shoot what's known as a girl-girl for Barely Legal number 16.
We have a girl this morning in the jacuzzi. Fucking
Love for sale.
And we're
This morning, Autumn will earn $1,000 to have oral sex with this woman. A session like this can create a stunning array of pornographic products,
You lean into each other a little bit. Good.
pictures for the internet,
Well, that was innocent.
and more pictures for magazines.
Virgin-like look then.
Clive will shoot the video with what's known as a hot camera and a cold
There's
camera.
one camera there, there's one camera here, so obviously something like that will allow me to do some nice soft stuff from over there.
The hot camera scenes are explicit for the XXX version.
I need light in there, guys. I'm suffering here.
Who's prepared to pay the
The cold camera scenes are less explicit. They'll end up on softcore cable channels and in some hotel chains.
Keep moving, don't hold still for this thing.
In the adult entertainment industry, it might be called vertical integration.
Cut. It's a f***ing masterpiece. 120 minutes. Yeah. Okay, I can get up and walk off. Just literally walk off to your left. Don't worry.
Clive will shoot 4 more scenes before Barely Legal number 16 is a wrap.
love.
Barely Legal is one of the many revenue streams flowing into an enterprise headquartered in the heart of Hollywood. Larry Flint Publications. Larry Flint, once a small-time smut merchant, now presides over a porn conglomerate.
We're into plain old vanilla sex, you know.
Vanilla sex.
Vanilla sex.
He puts its worth at nearly $400 million, and there are at least a half dozen other porn producers in this league.
These people employ major accounting firms, major law firms. Every single day, contracts are drawn, or litigation is engaged in to protect copyright, trademark, merchandising, sale of shirts and sweatshirts and whatever, memorabilia.
And then there's Flint's latest enterprise, a Main Street emporium called Hustler Hollywood. It made millions of dollars last year.
'Cause it's too darn hot, too darn hot, too darn hot, too darn hot.
Flint's daughter, Teresa, runs the store.
This used to be a Blockbuster and a Boston Chicken Market, and it was like, well, do we keep the glass windows so people from the outside can see in? And we were like, yeah, we want people to see in, and we want people to break the stereotype that sex is dirty.
I'd like to coo with my baby tonight.
Getting a lot of women, which is what we wanted. We sell things that women want to buy, whether it's a massage oil or an adult movie or a vibrator or whatever it is. It's so that I think that the couples use the products together. Nights are funner here because we're on Sunset and it's where all the clubs are. So when a concert lets out, everybody seems to flood into here for their coffee and their dessert and their toy or whatever.
Teresa says they sell at least 10,000 videos every month.
'Cause it's too darn, too darn, too darn, too darn, too darn, too darn hot.
This store is really successful. We have 3, we're building another. So, it says that people want these things.
Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft.
Porn used to be run by a handful of kingpins, operating in the shadows of the legitimate picture business in Hollywood. Now it's not so easy to tell them apart.
Over the years, it's become a multi-billion, with a B, dollar business. And the people who are running the companies now, they're educated, they are real business individuals. It's all business.
The adult business has its moguls, who run studios with names like Wicked Pictures and Vivid Video.
Who do we appeal to? Well, a large portion is couples. There's women, there's men. That is our niche, that is our area, and it's really more, like I said, the mainstream.
Bill Asher is a graduate of Dartmouth with an MBA from USC. And his company, Vivid, is the high end of porn.
I love the looks of you.
A lot of sensual play and caressing to her and play to the camera with your eyes.
They'll spend up to $100,000 on a feature.
Tell me that.
They produced 80 new films last year, keeping these state-of-the-art editing rooms busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pornography is the high-tech boom that didn't go bust.
What do you want?
Before the digital age, there were only so many ways to sell a dirty picture. Technology transformed the business.
We distribute those movies on video, VHS, DVD. We have internet sites, television channels. Our international business is growing. We're in 30-some countries with all those different products.
I'm Gary Miller, inviting you to join us.
The new technology allowed pornography to break through into the mainstream and into association with some of the biggest brand names in American business. This is the main control room at DirecTV, the satellite distribution service. This is how pornography is channeled into millions of American homes.
So we know it's called a buy rate, which is that for every million homes you're in any given month, we'll know how many times someone bought a movie. Generally, our buy rates are between 10 to 20%.
And how many million homes were you in?
We're in 40 million cumulative.
That's 4 million homes every month, paying to view a Vivid video. That's good for Vivid Video, and it's good for General Motors, which owns DirecTV.
About every 6 months, we've been able to get another large, well-known distributor to offer our content to their consumers. And with each one, I think that there is a little more credibility within the industry. The other distributors are able to stop and take a look and say, all right, that company did it. They were able to make money at it. Obviously, it turned out to be a good deal for them. There was no huge protesting in the streets, no fire and brimstone. So the next person feels a little more comfortable, and then the next.
AT&T is the biggest American company that has accommodated itself to the pornography boom. The Hot Network, explicit porn, shows on the cable network AT&T Broadband.
Cable companies and satellite companies take approximately 80% plus of the adult dollar that gets spent by the consumer.
For AT&T, porn distribution is great business, but you might not know it from reading the company's annual report. There's no mention of adult material, nor how much it contributes to the company's bottom line. But it's no secret to Wall Street.
If you look at how much money is coming in from adult, remember there's virtually no cost to AT&T for carrying it. And if he's generating $10 million, $20 million a month, that's virtually all found money going into the bottom line. So it can be a significant amount. 20 million times 12 months, that's a lot of bread.
Okay, you want to pay 52 for 4,300? I got you, baby.
Pornography's new acceptability in corporate America has made it an amenity in many of the nation's hotel chains.
The hotel needs to provide television as an amenity to the consumer. If it's a businessman, he probably wants to see adult. So this is a way of keeping that consumer happy.
It's an offering, much like in a hotel. There will be bars that serve alcohol, and that's not to say that we condone drinking or that we should judge people whether or not they want to drink alcohol, but it is there as a convenience, it is there as an offering to guests who wish to do it, for guests who wish to watch this material.
The major chains, Hilton, Westin, and Marriott, all offer porn in their rooms, delivered to the hotel by one of two major distribution companies, LodgeNet or On Command Video.
If you're LodgeNet or On Command, you go to the hotel operator and you make a deal where you agree to put in the equipment, including in many cases the TV set. The consumer orders a movie. They will get billed on their hotel bill to $8.95 for an adult movie.
Some analysts say these movies make more money for the hotel chains than all the alcohol and snacks in the minibar.
So the 5% or the 10% of revenue that the hotel chain gets, that's pure profit to him because they have no cost. They didn't put in the wiring system. They didn't supply the programming.
It's a happy alliance for both sides of the business equation. For the mainstream companies, easy money. For the porn industry, a protective layer of legitimacy.
The mainstream companies help legitimize what we're doing. They tell America that by definition, if this company, this large company that you respect, is distributing this, obviously there's demand for it. I think that is what has helped us. is that in the past it was always, people talk about how big is the adult industry. And people would say, oh, it's huge. But I think that the average person said, well, that's a lot of hype. There really isn't that much interest in this product. Or it's a very small segment of people who really buy this product. I think once they start hearing large companies are distributing it, they start to realize that there must be demand for this. This must be normal. I shouldn't feel odd because I enjoy it.
The desire to have men touch me, love me.
If pornography is compatible with the hotel, cable, and satellite businesses, it might have been made for the internet. Take the relationship of porn and the giant search engine, Yahoo.
I think what Yahoo did was go one step beyond and say, okay, my customers want to see sex. I'll make it easier for them and I'll categorize it. Here's bestiality, here's whips and chains, here's whatever.
Yahoo made money, lots of it, selling ads and links to porno websites.
When Yahoo first launched, getting a site listed, even a commercial business site, was free. Nowadays, it costs $200 to get a website listed, unless you're an adult website, in which case they charge $600.
One of the earliest advertisers was Danny's hard drive. Danny Ash is the CEO.
I was obsessed with the computer. I thought, I want to become a computer programmer. It was like the proverbial light bulb going off. I knew what I had to do, and I said, I got to have one of these now.
She got one, and last year she made $8 million.
This is Danny.
But Danny is more than a CEO. Once she takes off her clothes, she's the main attraction.
I'm a bit of a geek. Yeah, I'm a geek with big breasts. Yes.
Danny, a former stripper, holds the Guinness World Record as the most downloaded woman on the web.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Danny's niche is what is known as softcore. No male-female sex is shown. Instead, model Shauna O'Brien will earn $750 for a little wiggle, a little jiggle, and a little giggle.
Say, hi, I'm Shauna O'Brien, and then hop out again.
Shauna will tell the joke of the week,
And this is your naked joke of the week.
perform a virtual lap dance,
And then my heart stood still.
and she'll do a guest shot on Danny's weekly talk show, In Bed with Danny.
My feet could
There'll be photo shoots with Danny for the site. And then, while viewers type in messages online, Shauna will spend the next 2 hours stripping for the camera.
You're doing great. Gabby Hayes says, have a good night, Shauna. Stay happy. Wario says you could just look at those eyes all night long.
Until the thrill.
Danny's hard drive is one of the most popular websites on the internet.
He wants to know if you always look this beautiful.
But it's only one. Across the World Wide Web, there are at least 200,000 commercial pornography sites. This is the golden age of porn. But the porn king, Larry Flint, knows that in the recent past, people like him were hunted down by the law.
Larry Flint is in the Hamilton County Jail tonight following...
I was a 25-year-old prosecutor, done 400-some obscenity cases, and looked at 200 cases a year, got everybody.
They feel very much threatened.
But maybe one of the more famous cases I did was Larry Flint.
I say to them, in the language that I know best, 2 words, shove it. I'll stay here till hell freezes over.
In the 70s, pornography was the hardcore stuff. Everybody knew it was sleazy because it looked sleazy. It was in downtown back alley, dirty bookstores. The cops had to wear plastic bags on their shoes to go into there, and the peep shows were full of diseases, and it was just awful.
The question was, what was criminal? And there was a fairly straightforward test for that. A Supreme Court case called Miller versus the State of California.
The Miller test, and we still use it today in every state court, every federal court trial in the United States, is a 3-part test. The first 2 prongs use community standards, and you're supposed to decide whether you think an average person in the community of adults where you live would find that the material appeals to the prurient interest, meaning does it appeal to that shameful, morbid, lustful, lascivious, erotic interest in sex? Second prong, would that average person applying community standards find that it depicts the sexual activity in a patently offensive way? And then the third prong is, would a reasonable person find that it lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific scientific value.
The heart of Miller was that second prong, letting community standards decide what material was offensive. And juries in hundreds of communities knew obscenity when they saw it.
It was pretty easy to get obscenity convictions through a jury in the 70s. I mean, I never going to understand why anybody could lose an obscenity case. I think part of that was that people on the juries hadn't seen hardcore pornography before.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the ravishment of a woman.
Local prosecutors were getting their convictions by showing juries films like Behind the Green Door. But even so, the porn business thrived. With the first of the big technological breakthroughs, the VCR, allowing porn to come right into the home.
Well, there it is, you little bugger. There it is. What? It's deep down in the bottom of your throat.
The industry was becoming so big, it was omnipresent. You found it in 7-Eleven. You found it in advertisements in your phone book for dial-a-porn. It was on cable television. It was in your local video store.
By the 1980s, the Reagan administration decided that the federal government needed to do something about it.
So the Attorney General's Commission met, looked at the laws, and said, the laws are there. It is the responsibility of the Justice Department, and we encourage you to prosecute. And they did.
For the federal and local anti-porn squads, convictions were routine. They just show the porn and ask almost any jury if it offended its community standards. They won nearly every case, as the porn kingpins pled guilty.
They were indicting the big shots, and so everybody else in the industry said if they can get to the boss, they can get to us. So the first thing that goes away from the shelves is the more extreme, animals, blood, goats, and kids.
Judge William Morrissey sentenced Flint to 7 to 25 years in prison and refused bond pending.
Law enforcement officials believed they had actually put the pornography genie back in the bottle. Then, in the early 1990s, federal porn prosecutions essentially stopped when a new administration with different priorities took over the Justice Department.
What we tried to do is to take the resources that we had and establish priorities. I suppose somebody could decide to use all their resources for obscenity prosecutions and not for other matters. It seems to me clearly that national security and human life free of violence are two very important priorities.
Under Attorney General Reno, federal prosecutions slowed dramatically, and the Obscenity Task Force effectively went out of business.
As a result, the industry burgeoned, and numbers and numbers of companies sprouted up everywhere to meet the demand, because there's a huge demand from millions to billions, and to also take advantage of the fact that there really weren't any prosecutions going on.
And when Clinton comes in, it's definitely blue skies and green lights and fat bank accounts.
Is that me?
Mark Cromer is one of the beneficiaries of porn's newfound freedom and riches.
This is a guy who eats Viagra for breakfast and is working 4 times a day.
I'm somewhat, I think, of an anomaly in the industry. I am a writer, a journalist by trade, college-educated journalist who came to porn just a few years ago by selling Larry Flint a concept.
Cromer and Flint produce a series called Jail Babes.
Jail Babes tapped into America's dual fascinations with sex and crime. So we blended that rather seamlessly by using women who had committed, real criminals, and interviewed them about their crimes, what they did in jail, how it worked, and then their sexual fantasies, and then film them having sex.
Everything happened, all the sex happened in
her cell.
Yeah, in the cells.
As the adult business flourished in the 90s, many of the new pornographers arose from the Hollywood culture itself.
Each bunny's 6.
One of the industry's new millionaires is Adam Glasser.
I went to high school with Rob Lowe, Robert Downey Jr., Sean Penn, Chris Penn, Holly Robinson,
Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, they all went to my high school. So I'd visit sets, and I mean, you know, cameras this big and lights that you had to have cranes operate and crews in the hundreds to make a movie. Forget about it.
Mission to sing here and Zach Gessams too.
Then one day, Adam went to the set of a porno film.
This guy walks in, and he has this little handheld camera and this old man that barely could see 2 feet in front of him taking still shots, and they made the whole movie in one day. So for me, it completely changed my view on, you know, it was possible. It seemed possible to me. And so from that day forward, I said, I'm in the wrong business, and this is the business that I want to get into, and I slowly but surely gravitated and made my way into the adult industry.
Adam's company is a family business.
Hi, Ma.
Hi.
The treasurer is his 70-year-old mother, Lila.
I just want to talk to you about receivables and what's going on.
To me, it's a business. I think that basically this industry has very nice people, even though people expect differently for whatever reason.
This family business grossed $2 million last year. All over the San Fernando Valley, on the outskirts of L.A., young Larry Flint wannabes made millions by taking sex to the outer limits.
It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication.
I was the one who out to L.A. and said I was going to be a pornographer.
Rob Black is making big money and big plans.
I don't see us just as an adult company. I say the trajectory we'd like to be is more of like a Ted Turner or a Disney or something like that.
Dream of Californication.
Where are you, babe? What are you doing?
Rob and his wife own Extreme Associates. His wife, she calls herself Lizzie Borden, is a former actress who has made the transition to directing.
I just look at what's happening in society, like real stuff, and I just bring it to porno.
Lizzie and Rob are low-budget filmmakers. This film, about the rape of a woman whose car breaks down, cost about $20,000 to make.
He should be on his way there.
They'll earn tens of thousands of dollars in profit.
Yeah, grab her by the...
Rob and Lizzie try to make 2 films a week.
I don't shoot the lovey-dovey porno that you watch all the time. This is for people who watch porno all the time and they're sick of the husband and the wife making love with candles. This is for if you want to porno with your old lady and you're watching it and you're getting into it, and it's hot, steamy sex that you're like, after you get done, you feel like you just like the drugs. Like, yeah.
Lizzie and Rob have their own website. They sell videos and memberships for $29.95. It's pretty rough stuff, but in the sexual cornucopia of the internet, it's just another website. Internet sex shoppers can browse sites featuring sex with pregnant women, Asian bondage, foot worship, bestiality. Fetishism is the growth market.
In the adult industry, it's not odd to have, quite a few internet sites with everything from different, fetishes aimed at different markets, if you will. How important it's to us? It's approximately 25 to 30% of our business right now. The key to it is that it's the growth area. It's the thing that's taking off.
The internet, more than any other technology, inhibits obscenity prosecutions because it fractures the very idea of what a community is. Has a world that offers home-delivered fetishes lost its capacity to be offended? Or is it that obscenity in the digital age has just not been put to the test?
I think that the porn industry today, the hardcore porn syndicate, has been blessed by history in 2 ways. One is that they just happened to hit the internet when it was exploding. And if there had been continued federal prosecutions, you wouldn't see the internet presence of the porn syndicate as big as it is today. But the combination of the industry's willingness to go on the web in a big way and the prosecutors not, indicting them for that, it allowed it to explode beyond anybody's imagination. I think it was just that fluke.
This is the Los Angeles Convention Center, the city's favorite place to see the newest boats and cars. This year, it's home to the city's premier porn event, Erotica LA.
Go ahead, ladies.
Here, the adult industry is letting it all hang out. Consumers willing to pay $15 can see the latest sex toys, meet a porn star, or buy a video. 5 years ago, this event didn't exist. This year, it is 3 times as big as it was last year.
I recommend running at low speed, a lot of lube.
Do not harm yourself with these.
Yeah. This is live right now from Newport Beach. Booby shots or?
It's proof, the leaders of the adult business say, that their business is demand-driven. Millions and millions of Americans want pornography and spend billions for it.
I interest you in a transsexual magazine. No, okay.
Why? Because we want it. We want porn. We want lots of it. We want it on demand. The internet is fueling our ability to have it on demand. And nobody can stop that now.
Well, I think we're at this really kind of interesting time where we still have this real undercurrent of conservatism and the fact that, ooh, sex is taboo and, ooh, it's forbidden, yet it's available. So we're feeling like, ooh, we can't have it, but it's available. And what you've got is a billion-dollar industry.
But Larry Flint is worried that porn's new prosperity won't last. Within the last year, he cast his experienced eye toward the horizon, and what he beheld wasn't a blue sky.
Take a good look at number 9 there.
It was the Republican administration of George W. Bush and a new Justice Department.
What's going on there?
Flint knows that zealous prosecutors are bad for business.
It's just it's a little peeker.
I think they sort of know that, President Bush, George W. Bush, and Attorney General Ashcroft, I mean, they're about as serious as a heart attack.
After Attorney General Ashcroft was confirmed, one of his first meetings was with former prosecutors and other anti-porn advocates.
I was present at a meeting with the Attorney General, and they did ask for our input, and so we did write up, examples of the kinds of cases we did in the past, some of the trial tactics and investigative methods that have been used, by prosecutors around the country.
I'm crazy about number 3.
I think there'll be a big surprise next year.
In early September, the Attorney General was preparing a major assault on porn. Then the events of September 11th changed all that. The feds are off Larry Flint's case, at least for now. But the U.S. Supreme Court has heard 2 porn-related cases this session. And there's a new anti-porn case in the industry's backyard, Los Angeles, that has captured the attention of the kingpins.
We try to see what the community will accept as a yardstick, because that's really where the law kicks in. And so I think the common sense part is, I'm a regular gal, I look at a video, I see, whoa, that's very extreme, and I don't think the community will accept it.
But Larry Flint and the other porn producers are betting billions that the community standards have shifted.
You can now see on television material just as explicit as we was publishing in Hustler in 1974.
With the cable network, Sex and the City, the last 2 episodes I've seen dealt with female ejaculation and jobs. If you know what a job is, that's called analingus.
Are we talking tuchus lingus? I'm afraid so. How did this happen? How did they get the message that the is now on the menu? I bet there's one loudmouth guy who found some woman who loved it and told everybody, women love this. Who is this guy?
You can't get any more extreme in a sense in talking about the sexual acts and making them part of everyday women's daily lives.
Sting that I get after he canes me lasts.
But it is the very mainstreaming of sexual content on cable that is forcing some pornographers to try to go even further. Over at Extreme Associates, Rob Black and Lizzie Borden are determined to test the limits.
We're known for all the taboo stuff that everyone said you can't do, and we do it, and we sell it, and people are entertained because people are bored with the other stuff.
You're supposed to do the scare thing, but
Today, they're shooting the box cover for Lizzie's new feature.
I like that.
A girl being kidnapped, being forced to have sex against her will.
Lizzie's newest film breaks many of even porn's taboos.
Being butchered at the end and spit on. She's being degraded.
The actress, Veronica Kane, apparently doesn't know exactly what she's in for.
Go with the flow, all right? Let happen what's going to happen.
She's like one of my best friends.
And you're about to put her through
hell.
Why?
Are we ready to do this?
Yeah, Lizzie, I'm going to shoot it twice, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
She knows me. She's my best friend. I know she can take it. And at the end, I give her a hug. I take her out to dinner. We go shopping.
Is she going to take a beating? A real beating?
Yeah. She's really going to get hit. She likes it. It's good. Sometimes it makes you more horny when you're getting hit. Makes you more like... It makes you, you know, more tingly down in your genital area.
Rolling.
Action!
Yeah, get this.
Before the scene is finished, Lizzie's friend, Veronica, will be kicked and beaten. She will have oral, vaginal, and anal sex with each of these actors. Then they will pretend to cut her throat and leave her for dead in a pool of blood.
Because I'm a female director, and it's easy for me to be like, oh, come on, do it, you know? And not just a man. If a guy asks, they're like, oh, he's a pervert. But if a woman asks, they do it.
We were here because this is one of the places where porn is now regularly pushing the limits. But this was more than we bargained for. And while it appeared that what was happening was legally consensual, we left. The incident, though, caused us to wonder not just about the content, but about the human cost. A cost that even porn producers see every day.
And it never ceases to amaze me what these women are willing to do for money. I mean, why do you have a 19-year-old girl having sex with multiple partners 3, 4, 5 days a week?
So how's that work with braces?
What?
Well, you know.
Well, she works 3 days a week, and she's making $1,000 a shoot, which some of these girls get $1,000 for a straight boy-girl scene. $1,500 for if they do anal. So you're 18 years old, and you just made $4,500 in a week. That's what I made, I think, all year when I was 18, right?
This is the set of another Extreme Associates production, Porno Boot Camp, where young actresses are being taught the ropes about hardcore.
How old are you?
I'm 21, sir.
Maybe they just do girl-girl to start. But what happens is a demand builds for them to see them do a boy-girl. So then their price goes up because they haven't done boy-girl. So then they do boy-girl. So they start parceling out what they'll do. They go slow at first.
You know, everything's just been like mild, like routine guy-girl type of thing, or girl-girl.
They don't do anal. So then the demand builds for that because that producer wants that first box cover that says her first on-screen anal, right? So her price for that goes up.
I'm scared. I'm slightly nervous because I haven't ever done anal before. So, well, I've actually tried it, but it was like horrible.
So why now?
Honestly, for the money.
But after a while, then she starts doing anal a lot, price goes down.
Have you ever been in your ass?
No!
And you plan to get in your ass by 6 guys?
Yes! Sir.
Do you tell the guy of your dreams, or the girl of your dreams for that matter, that you've had sex with about 685 people, maybe 800 people, You're not sure. You know what, you can only figure you do 2 scenes of tape and you did 300 tapes, right? You know, some sort of arithmetic like that. That's a killer.
Let's see you bend over and touch your toes.
Veronica Kane was the actress beaten in that film made by Lizzie Borden. She has lasted 3 years in the porn business. She says she'll know Mr. Right when she sees him.
The individual has to be open and intelligent and understanding enough to realize that this is a business and that it was something fun for me to do, and it was a part of my life, and you know, I'm not ashamed of it.
You guys are going to do everything your drill instructors asked you to do today, right?
If you want to know what I think the dirty little secret of the industry is,
In the whole industry, right?
they're mannequins. And if you're not going to do it, she will. And if she won't do it, he will. And, you know, I mean, it's just, they come and go.
The recruits are vying for a $10,000 prize from Rob Black. The winner will be judged as the one who was most enthusiastic about 2 days of various sex acts performed in front of the camera. The tape will sell for $29.95.
When I was a child, my stepfather was an alcoholic. So I think I had like deep issues, and this is kind of therapeutic for me, is take my aggression out on other people. So in a way, I'm exploiting people. I'm taking all my inner demons and aggression out on them, but it's good for me. So I guess that's all that matters.
Over at Porn Incorporated, Larry Flint, the past master of the outrageous, won't go as far as Lizzie Borden and Rob Black. From his point of view, they can only cause problems for the industry.
Look, if you've got a video that's indefensible, to try and take a hardline position for yourself, you're not going to do anything but harm yourself and harm the industry.
The porn kingpins don't want any attention that will hurt their industry's carefully crafted association with the mainstream. But in the last year, pornography's biggest mainstream ally, AT&T, has been the subject of an anti-porn crusade.
We've been asking AT&T to get out of the hardcore porn business. Ma Bell shouldn't be selling smut.
Last spring, an interfaith coalition of religious leaders brought their concerns directly to the top at AT&T. They met with its chairman, C. Michael Armstrong.
I raised the issue that when a company like AT&T, which has won the hearts and allegiance of so many people, gets into this business, it's a way of legitimating it, saying it's okay, it's all right. That's the good housekeeping seal of approval we don't want to see put on this kind of business.
While AT&T refused to grant Frontline an interview about the Hot Network, the company has publicly stated its position in letters like this, where it says that competitive pressures from companies like General Motors are keeping AT&T in the business.
We didn't think that the arguments we heard were persuasive. One point that was alleged to us is that GM was in the same business, and they had to keep up with GM. Also, AT&T's representatives at this meeting indicated that there are some worse things out there, but I think there was a concession made that what they have is pretty raw.
AT&T Broadband has only gotten bigger with its pending $72 billion merger with cable competitor Comcast. The new AT&T Comcast Corporation would be the nation's biggest cable outfit, and with C. Michael Armstrong in charge for now, it will be porn's biggest pipeline.
They can give all the excuses in the world. The chairman of AT&T knows if he's selling hardcore pornography, he's a pornographer. And if that's his pornography, if he's made a deal for it, if he's not just the carrier, if he's in the business, then he's in the business.
Besides this attack on AT&T Broadband, other crusaders have joined the assault on the corporate collaborators. Some turned their attention to Yahoo after the giant search engine announced that it was opening a virtual sex shop where millions of users could buy hardcore videos and DVDs. The assault began.
One more mainstream company was now going to violate federal obscenity laws. And that was a news story, and it was quite widely distributed.
Overnight, Yahoo was bombarded by hundreds of thousands of email complaints.
The very next day, Yahoo made some statement that they were getting out of this business. They would no longer sell hardcore videos and were going to clean up their site.
And ever since, Yahoo has been in full retreat. The company closed its sex shop and began to hinder access to other porn sites. Yahoo also refused Frontline's request for an interview.
You'd like to run it.
Suddenly, the porn industry is off balance. No better indication of that is that Larry Flint has discovered caution.
Just tell Jim we'd like to run this, but you wanted to run it by him so he could talk to Paul.
Paul is Paul Cambria, the porn industry's lawyer. He created a list of sex acts that he advised his clients to treat as taboo if they wanted to avoid trouble with the Justice Department.
What are those things? Ejaculation on the face, urination, things that, you know, maybe the Midwestern soccer mom might say, whoa, you know, hello. Don't make adults appear to be underage. That's number one. These so-called bukkake films, an Asian variety of film where 25 men ejaculate on a woman. Stay away from subjects involving the dead. Stay away from subjects involving religion.
It's called the Cambria List, and all the major porn producers have agreed to follow it.
It's a bunch of rich guys running scared. It's a bunch of guys who were maybe rebels in the 70s and 80s that don't want to fight anymore. They want to take their chips out of the bank and cash them in and go home and play golf.
But prosecutions are happening. In L.A., city attorneys are about to bring the first obscenity case since 1993 before a jury. Attorneys for the city will find out whether community standards meet the prosecution's test for obscenity.
I have an acronym for it, and I memorize it through that. It's called CURB FHP. And what the C stands for is children involved. The U is for urination or defecation in conjunction with sex acts. The R is for rape scenes. The B is for bestiality. The F is for fisting or foot insertion. The H is for homicide or dismemberment in conjunction with a sex act. And the P is for pain, for severe infliction of pain. So those are the 7 general categories that we prosecute.
The newest case, scheduled for trial in Los Angeles in February 2002, starts with an F for fisting. The defendants are Adam Glasser.
Okay, and what about Golden Goose?
And his mom, Lila.
About 49,000.
It happened December 22nd. I got a phone call about 8:15 from my mom, basically telling me that police were there with a search warrant.
Okay. Bye, Mom. Bye-bye.
Lila's son produces in a very lucrative niche of the adult market, anal films. Early in his career, he decided to change his name from Adam Glasser to Seymour Butts. At the heart of his case is the argument about whether at this moment, this content is now acceptable to the community.
Why you? Why me? I released a movie with a scene that depicts women inserting their hands inside of one another.
Doors around. It's when you punch through. It'll be
Yeah, that's girl power.
For the last 10 years, movies have been shot where multiple digits have been inserted into women and or men in gay movies. But for some reason, when you put a thumb in, it is called fisting, and that seems to be a problem with the LA City Attorney.
Los Angeles Deputy City Attorney Sanchez will show Adam Glasser's fisting tape, Tampa Tushy Fest, to the jury.
Somebody has to stand up for the community I have to at least allow them to see, this is what's going on.
Oh, wow. Got it, just like I put him in. Wait till I think.
Do you think that this is acceptable to your community? I'm just a representative of the city.
Take one out and then the other one, okay?
I think my job is a presenter. A community look at what's out there. Community, is this acceptable to you? And if a jury tells me yes, then so be it. If they tell me no, then let's see where that really goes.
Ashcroft says, well,
There is a gathering sense even within the industry that one way or another, pornography is bound for a reckoning.
They hate it all. They're looking for their easiest targets. They're edgier, more provocative filmmakers, and they're going to hold those up as the examples of pornography.
Pornographers insist that they're engaged in protected adult expression. That's endorsed by the public every day at the cash register.
That ultimately the people have spoken, that they like adult content, that they're comfortable with it, and that, they don't want the government coming in and dictating what they do and don't want.
But prosecutors are betting that if the new hardcore pornography is actually put before the community, the old standards will apply.
Hardcore pornography, penetration clearly visible, was the standard 30 years ago. It's still the standard today.
Prosecutors insist that even in the digital age, there is such a thing as obscenity, and that a community will know it when it sees it.
When I feel you totally feel me.
For more on this report, go to our website. Take a closer look at the pending Supreme Court cases. See how you would have voted in a recent obscenity trial compared to the jurors. Study the politics of porn in Congress. Explore why people are drawn to pornography. Get details on porn and mainstream companies. And watch this whole report on our website. Or find out here if your local station is re-airing this program and when. Then join the discussion at pbsonline.pbs.org. Or write an email to frontline@pbs.org. Or write to this address.
Next time on Frontline, fat. We love it, we hate it.
We live in a food toxic environment.
Now the same industry that's making us fatter is cashing in, trying to make us slim.
People are bombarded with messages. Eat this, eat this, eat this. And then on the other hand, they're told, don't eat.
Why is it so hard to get rid of fat? And should we?
I like being a big woman. And who the hell is out there to tell me that anything is wrong with it?
Watch Fat next time on Frontline.
For a VHS copy of Frontline's American Porn, call PBS Home Video at 1-800-PLAY-PBS.